The wind up here is different than it is on the street, sharper, cleaner, as if it has been scrubbed of the city's exhaust and desperation before it reaches this height. I can feel it pressing against my coat, seeking any gap in the fabric, any weakness in my resolve, trying to remind me that I am flesh and blood and vulnerable to the elements. It is a cold November evening in Chicago, and the skyline is a jagged mouth of glass and steel biting into the bruised purple of the twilight. I am standing on the maintenance ledge of the Vance Corporation Tower, 80 stories above the gridlock traffic that looks like spilled jewelry from this distance, red and white lights blinking in a rhythmic, endless pulse. My shoes are sensible, black leather with a low heel, chosen for traction rather than style, because I knew I would need to stand firm today. I am not here to jump. I need to make that clear to myself first, before I make it clear to anyone else, because the narrative of my life has been written by other people for too long, defined by their assumptions, their fears, and their manipulations. I am here because this is the only place where the signal is strong enough. The only place where I know he will come when he sees a silhouette against the safety railings of his own empire. I am here to end the silence, not my life, but the silence that has grown between us like a wall of ice, thick and impenetrable, freezing everything it touches. My name is Bryn, and I am 34 years old, and for the past 3 years, I have been a ghost in my own story. I have watched from the shadows, analyzed the data, followed the money, and traced the threads of the lie that tore us apart, all while maintaining a distance that felt like survival but tasted like starvation. People think grief is loud, that it is screaming and weeping and breaking things, but I have learned that true grief is quiet. It is the sound of a phone not ringing. It is the sound of a key turning in a lock that no longer fits. It is the sound of your own breathing in an empty apartment, when you realize that the person who knew the rhythm of your heart is walking the earth believing you are dead, or worse, believing you chose to leave him without a word. I stand with my hands in my pockets, feeling the cold metal of the USB drive against my thumb, the physical weight of the truth I have carried for months. It is small, insignificant really, compared to the magnitude of what it contains, but it is the lever I need to move the world back into alignment. I hear the door behind me click open, the heavy sound of magnetic locks disengaging, and I do not turn around immediately. I let the wind fill the space between us, let him feel the urgency of the height, let him feel the fear that I know is rising in his throat. "Please don't jump," he says, and his voice is exactly as I remember it, though strained, frayed at the edges by a panic I have not heard in years. It is a plea, raw and unguarded, the voice of a man who has lost everything once already and cannot bear to lose it again. I turn slowly, keeping my movements deliberate, showing him my hands, showing him that I am not holding anything but the railing, that I am not leaning into the void but standing firmly on the concrete. He is standing 10 feet away, his suit jacket gone, his sleeves rolled up, his hair disheveled as if he has been running his hands through it repeatedly. Elias Vance, the billionaire, the man who owns half of this city, the man who thinks I am a stranger. That is the tragedy of this moment, the specific cruelty of the misunderstanding that has kept us apart. He looks at me and sees a woman in distress, a potential liability, a human being he feels compelled to save because he is a man who fixes things, who solves problems, who protects. He does not see his wife. He does not see the woman he vowed to cherish until death did them part. He sees a stranger because I changed my name, because I changed my hair, because I hid the only thing that mattered to protect myself from the people who tried to destroy us. "I am not going to jump, Elias," I say, and my voice is steady, calm, the voice of someone who has processed the pain and come out the other side with clarity. I use his first name deliberately, watching his eyes widen, watching the confusion ripple across his face. He knows that voice, even if he doesn't recognize the face. The brain remembers tone before it remembers features, the frequency of love before the geometry of it. He takes a step closer, his hands raised slightly, palms open, a gesture of negotiation, of peace. "How do you know my name?" he asks, and the suspicion is there, the defensive wall of a man who has been betrayed by partners, by friends, by the world that wants a piece of him. I tell him that I know many things, that I know the security code to this roof is his birthday, that I know he keeps a flask of scotch in the bottom drawer of his desk, because the stress of the quarterly reports gives him migraines, that I know he hates the color yellow but wears it sometimes because his mother liked it. I list these things like evidence, like bricks in a wall I am building between us, not to keep him out, but to keep the truth in. He stops moving. The wind whips his tie around his shoulder, and he looks at me with an intensity that burns, searching my face for the map of the woman he lost. "Who are you?" he asks, and the question hangs in the air, heavier than the skyscraper beneath us. This is the moment I have rehearsed in my head 1,000 times, in the quiet hours of the morning when the sleep wouldn't come, when the loneliness was a physical weight on my chest. I have practiced the reveal, the explanation, the forgiveness, but now that I am here, the words feel inadequate. How do you explain 3 years of silence? How do you explain that you disappeared because you thought he signed the documents that ruined your family, that you thought he chose money over you, only to find out later that the signature was forged? The choice was manufactured, and the man you loved was grieving you just as deeply as you were grieving him. I reach into my pocket and pull out the USB drive, holding it up between us like an offering, like a white flag. "I am Bryn," I say, and I say it softly, letting the name settle over him. "I am Bryn, and I am your wife, and I am not here to die. I am here to live." The reaction is not immediate. It is a slow collapse of defense, a shuddering of the eyes, a slight stagger as if the wind has finally knocked him off balance. He knows the name, he knows the voice, but the face is different. I wore glasses then, and my hair was longer, and I smiled more easily. The woman standing in front of him is harder, sharper, forged in the fire of survival. He takes a step forward, then another, until he is close enough that I can smell the scent of him, sandalwood and rain, and the specific, unique chemistry of his skin that my body remembers even if my mind tries to deny it. He reaches out, his hand trembling, and touches my cheek, his thumb brushing over the skin as if verifying that I am real, that I am not a hallucination brought on by stress and guilt. "Bryn," he whispers, and the word breaks him. It is not a question anymore. It is an acknowledgement. It is the end of the search. He pulls me into him, and for a moment I let myself be held. I let myself feel the solidness of his chest, the warmth of his arms, the frantic beating of his heart against mine. It is easy to surrender to this, to let the relief wash over me, to let the tears come that I have held back for 3 years. But I cannot stay here. I cannot let the emotion override the logic. This is not just a reunion. It is a resolution. I push back gently, creating space between us, because we have things to say that need to be heard clearly, without the interference of hunger or desperation. "We need to talk," I say, and he nods, stepping back, respecting the boundary I have set. He knows me well enough to know that when I set a boundary, it is because I need to protect the integrity of what we are building. We sit on the concrete ledge, legs dangling over the side, not too close to the edge, but close enough to feel the danger, close enough to remember that life is fragile. I tell him everything. I tell him about the day I left, the envelope I found on the kitchen counter with the bank statements and the transfer orders, the ones that looked like I was being cut out of the company, out of the life we built together. I tell him about the lawyer I consulted, the one who told me that the signatures were mine, but the timing was impossible, that I was out of the country when those documents were filed. I tell him about the fear that seized me, the realization that someone was using my identity to steal from us, and the decision I made to disappear rather than fight a battle I couldn't win from the inside. I tell him that I went to my sister's house in Oregon, that I changed my name to her maiden name, that I worked in a library where no one knew who I was, where I could think without the noise of his world drowning me out. I tell him that I spent every day watching the news, watching his company, watching him, waiting for the truth to surface, waiting for him to find me. He listens without interrupting, his eyes fixed on the horizon, his jaw tight. When I finish, he is quiet for a long time. The city hums below us, indifferent to our pain. Finally, he speaks, and his voice is low, rough with emotion. "I thought you died," he says. "I thought you got on that plane and it went down, or that you changed your mind and decided I wasn't worth the trouble." He tells me about the private investigators he hired, the ones who came back with nothing, the dead ends that led to nowhere. He tells me about the nights he spent in this office, sleeping on the couch, hoping that if he stayed here long enough, I would come back, that I would walk through the door and explain that it was all a mistake. He tells me about the guilt, the belief that he had driven me away, that his work, his ambition, had cost him the only thing that mattered. He tells me that he stopped signing contracts without reading every line, that he stopped trusting his partners, that he became a fortress because he thought he had failed to protect me. It is a mirror of my own experience. We both spent 3 years hiding, both believing the other had abandoned us, both carrying the weight of a lie that was manufactured by someone who wanted to see us fail. I reach into my pocket again and pull out a folded piece of paper, a copy of the forensic audit report I had commissioned 6 months ago. I hand it to him. "This is the evidence," I say. "The name of the person who forged the signatures. The name of the person who leaked the stories to the press about our marital troubles to drive down the stock price so they could buy in cheap. It is Julian Thorne, his oldest friend, his business partner, the man who stood next to him at our wedding." Elias takes the paper, his hands shaking slightly as he unfolds it. He reads the name, and I see the color drain from his face. He knows it is true. He knows the patterns, the modus operandi. Julian always wanted more control, always resented the share I had in the company, always thought I was a liability because I wanted ethical oversight on the projects. It makes sense. It fits the puzzle pieces together in a way that is ugly but clear. I tell him that I didn't come here for revenge. I didn't come here to destroy Julian or to take everything back by force. I came here because I wanted to know if we could trust each other again. I wanted to know if the love was still there, underneath the anger and the confusion. I wanted to know if he was willing to fight for us, not with money or power, but with truth. He looks at me, and the pain in his eyes is replaced by a fierce, determined clarity. "I never stopped loving you, Bryn," he says, "not for a second. Even when I was angry, even when I thought you left me, I loved you. It was the only thing that kept me going." He reaches for my hand, and this time I let him take it. His grip is firm, grounding. We sit there for a long time, watching the sun dip below the skyline, painting the clouds in shades of orange and pink, a stark contrast to the cold steel around us. We talk about the logistics, the legal steps we need to take, the lawyers we need to call, the public statement we need to make. But mostly, we talk about us. We talk about the things we missed, the small things, the morning coffee, the way he hums when he is working, the way I read aloud when I am nervous. We rebuild the bridge brick by brick, word by word. It is not easy. There is still hurt there. There is still the scar of the time lost. But there is also the understanding that we survived it, that we chose clarity over anger, that we chose each other when it would have been easier to walk away. When we finally stand up to leave, the wind has died down. The city lights are fully on now, a grid of electricity and life. He offers me his jacket, and I take it, wrapping it around my shoulders. It smells like him, like safety. We walk to the door, and he holds it open for me, a small gesture of chivalry that feels significant after so long. As we walk down the stairs, through the secure halls of the tower, I feel the weight of the last 3 years lifting off my shoulders. I am not a ghost anymore. I am Bryn. I am his wife. I am home. The security guards nod as we pass, sensing the shift in the atmosphere, the restoration of order. We take the elevator down in silence, but it is a comfortable silence, the kind that comes from knowing you don't need to fill every second with words. When the doors open to the lobby, the air is warmer, heavier with the scent of marble and flowers. He leads me to the car, a black sedan waiting at the curb. He opens the door for me, and I slide in, watching him walk around to the other side. As we drive away from the tower, I look out the window at the city passing by. It looks different now. Less threatening. More like a place where life happens, rather than a battlefield. I think about the women who might be listening to this story. The women who are currently standing on their own ledges, metaphorical or literal, feeling trapped by misunderstandings, by lies, by the fear that the people they love have turned against them. I want them to know that it is okay to step back. It is okay to seek the truth. It is okay to demand clarity before you make a decision that cannot be undone. Anger is a valid emotion, but it is a poor guide. It clouds the vision. It makes you see enemies where there are only confused people. Intelligence is not about being cold. It is about being precise. It is about knowing what you want and having the courage to ask for it, even when your voice shakes. I look at Elias, driving with one hand on the wheel, his profile illuminated by the dashboard lights. He catches my eye in the rearview mirror and smiles, a small, tentative smile that grows into something real. We arrive at the house, the one we bought before everything fell apart. It has been empty, maintained by a staff but devoid of life. As we walk up the path, I notice the garden is overgrown, the weeds taking over the flowers I used to tend. It is a metaphor I cannot ignore. Neglect allows the weeds to grow, but the roots are still there. With care, with water, with sunlight, the flowers will come back. He unlocks the door, and the smell of dust and stale air hits us. He moves to turn on the lights, but I stop him. Let's sit in the dark for a minute, I say. I want to remember this house as it was before the shadows took over. We sit on the floor in the foyer, backs against the wall, holding hands. We talk about what comes next. We talk about the lawsuit against Julian. We talk about the press conference. We talk about the therapy we will need, individually and together, to process the trauma of the separation. We do not pretend that everything is fixed overnight. We acknowledge the work ahead. But we acknowledge it together. That is the difference. Before, I felt alone in the fight. Now, I know I have a partner. I tell him about the fear I had, that he would be different, that the money and the power had changed him. He tells me about the fear he had, that I would never forgive him, that I had found someone else, that I had moved on to a life where he didn't exist. We laugh then, a soft, shared laughter that breaks the tension. It is absurd, really, how much pain we caused ourselves by assuming the worst. How much time we lost because we were too afraid to ask the simple questions. I rest my head on his shoulder, and he kisses the top of my head. It is a gesture of possession, but also of protection. I am not a thing to be owned. I am a person to be cherished. And he knows that now. He knows that I chose to come back. That I chose him. That choice is more valuable than any contract, any merger, any asset in his portfolio. The night deepens around us. The house settles. I feel a profound sense of peace, the kind that comes after a storm has passed and the air is washed clean. I think about the title of this story, the way it might be told by others. Please don't jump, the billionaire pleaded. It sounds dramatic. It sounds like a tabloid headline. But the truth is quieter. It is not about the jump. It is about the plea. It is about the moment when someone reaches out and says, I see you, I see your pain. Stay. It is about the willingness to listen. It is about the courage to be vulnerable. I close my eyes and let the silence fill me. I am not running anymore. I am not hiding. I am here. And for the first time in 3 years, I know exactly where here is. The next morning, the light comes in through the windows, bright and clear. I wake up on the couch, a blanket over me. Elia's asleep in the chair nearby. He looks tired but peaceful. I get up and walk to the kitchen. I make coffee, the ritual grounding me. The smell of the beans grinding, the water boiling, the steam rising. It is the smell of normalcy. I bring him a cup, and he wakes up, blinking against the light. Good morning, he says, and the words are simple, but they carry the weight of a new beginning. Good morning, I reply. We drink the coffee in silence, watching the sun rise over the garden. We have a meeting with the lawyers at 10. We have a statement to draft. We have a life to reclaim. But for now, we have this moment. This quiet, ordinary moment that is more precious than anything money can buy. I think about the journey it took to get here. The nights of crying myself to sleep. The days of staring at computer screens, digging through financial records, looking for the anomaly, the glitch, the lie. The fear that I was crazy, that I was imagining the betrayal. The relief when the forensic accountant confirmed my suspicions. The courage it took to book the ticket to Chicago. The courage it took to climb those stairs. The courage it took to stand on that ledge and speak my truth. It was not easy. It required every ounce of strength I had, but it was worth it, because the alternative was a life of regret. A life of wondering what if, a life of bitterness. I chose clarity, I chose truth, and in doing so, I chose love. As we get ready to leave the house, I look in the mirror. I see the woman I was 3 years ago, but also the woman I am now. Stronger, wiser, scarred, but whole. I fix my hair, put on my glasses, and take a deep breath. I am ready. Elias comes up behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist, resting his chin on my shoulder. We look at ourselves in the mirror together. We look like a team. We look like partners. We look like people who have been through hell and came out holding hands. I love you, he says into my hair. I love you too, I say, and I mean it with every fiber of my being. We walk out the door into the sunlight. The car is waiting. The city is waiting, the future is waiting, and we are ready to face it, not as a billionaire and his lost wife, not as a victim and a savior, but as Bryn and Elias, two people who found their way back to each other through the fog of misunderstanding. Two people who learned that communication is the only bridge that matters. Two people who know that trust is not given, it is built, and once broken, it can be repaired if both parties are willing to do the work. We get in the car, he starts the engine. We drive away, leaving the shadows of the past behind us, moving toward the light. The story does not end with the kiss or the reunion. It ends with the work. It ends with the daily choice to be honest, to be open, to be vulnerable. It ends with the understanding that love is not a feeling, it is an action. It is showing up. It is listening. It is believing the best of each other even when the evidence suggests otherwise. It is checking the facts. It is asking the questions. It is refusing to let the silence win. I look out the window as we drive toward the downtown district. The skyscrapers gleam in the morning sun. They look less like fortresses now and more like beacons. They look like possibilities. I squeeze Elias' hand and he squeezes back. We are going to be okay, more than okay. We are going to be whole. There is a specific kind of freedom that comes from resolving a conflict with intelligence rather than emotion. It is the freedom of knowing you did not act out of impulse, that you did not burn the bridge because you were angry, that you walked across it carefully, testing each plank until you reached the other side. That is the feeling I have now. A clean conscience, a clear heart. I know that there will be challenges ahead. Julian will fight back. The press will be ruthless. The public will have opinions. But none of that matters as much as the truth between us. As long as we have that, we can withstand anything. We have the evidence. We have the law on our side. But more importantly, we have each other. I think about the women who are struggling in their own relationships, who are facing similar ambiguities, who are afraid to speak up because they fear the answer. I want to tell them that fear is a liar. It tells you that the truth will destroy you. But often, the truth is the only thing that can save you. It might hurt, it might change things, but it will set you free. Don't stay in the dark. Don't let the misunderstanding fester. Seek the light, seek the clarity. It is worth the risk. It is worth the pain, because on the other side of the truth is life. Real life, not the shadow life of assumptions and fears. The car stops at a red light. Elias turns to me. Are you ready for this? He asks. He is not asking about the meeting. He is asking about us, about the future. I look at him and I see the hope in his eyes. I see the love. I see the man I married. Yes, I say, I am ready. The light turns green. He presses the accelerator. We move forward. Into the day. Into the truth. Into the life we were meant to have. The narrative of our lives is no longer written by others. It is written by us. Pen in hand. Ink still wet. Every word chosen with care. Every sentence constructed with intention. We are the authors now. And the story is good. It is hard, and it is complex, and it has scars, but it is good. It is a story of redemption, of restoration, of love that refused to die. I lean back in the seat and close my eyes, letting the warmth of the sun hit my face. I am home, I am safe, I am loved, and that is enough. That is everything. As we approach the office building, I see the cameras gathering outside, the reporters, the speculation. I feel a flicker of anxiety, but it passes quickly. I have Elias beside me. I have the truth in my bag. I have the confidence of someone who knows who she is. We pull up to the curb. The driver opens the door. We step out. The flashes go off. The questions are shouted. We do not answer them. Not yet. We walk through the crowd, heads high, hands linked. We walk into the building. Into the elevator, up to the office. Into the meeting room. We sit down. We lay out the documents. We speak. And the world listens. But that is a story for another time. For now, the important thing is that we are here, together, and we are not letting go. The resolution of a conflict is not a single moment. It is a process. It is the days after the confrontation, the weeks of rebuilding, the months of proving. It is the small acts of kindness, the apologies, the forgiveness. It is the willingness to be wrong, to admit fault, to learn. We are doing that now. We are learning how to be us again. It is awkward sometimes. We stumble, we miss steps, but we keep dancing, because the music is still playing, because the love is still there, because we chose to stay. I look at Elias across the table in the conference room. He is speaking to the lawyers, his voice firm, his logic sound. He is in his element, but he catches my eye and smiles. A private smile, just for me. It reminds me that beneath the billionaire, beneath the CEO, is the man who loves me. The man who pleaded with me not to jump. The man who held me on the floor of our empty house. The man who is fighting for us. I smile back. We are a team, we are a force, and we are just getting started. The sun moves across the sky. The meeting ends, we walk out. The city is alive around us. People rushing, living, loving, struggling, winning, losing. It is a tapestry of human experience. And we are part of it, no longer on the sidelines, no longer in the shadows, in the center, in the light. I take a deep breath. The air tastes like possibility, like hope, like freedom. I am Bryn. I am 34, I am a wife, I am a survivor, I am whole, and I am ready for whatever comes next. The drive home is quiet, we are tired, the day was long, the emotional exertion takes its toll, but it is a good tired. The kind that comes from a job well done, from a battle fought and won. We pull into the driveway, the house is waiting, it is no longer empty, it is filled with us, with our presence, with our future. We walk inside, we kick off our shoes. We collapse on the couch. He pulls me close, I rest my head on his chest, I listen to his heart. It beats steady. Strong, alive, I close my eyes, I sleep. And for the first time in 3 years, I do not dream of falling. I dream of flying. The morning comes again, and the next, and the next. Life resumes. The lawsuit proceeds. The truth comes out. Julian is held accountable. The company is stabilized. But the real victory is not in the courtrooms or the boardrooms. It is in the kitchen, in the bedroom, in the quiet moments. It is in the trust that is rebuilt. Day by day, word by word, action by action, we are building a new foundation. Stronger than the old one, because we know what it looks like when it cracks. We know how to fix it, we know how to prevent it. We are smarter now, we are wiser, we are better. I think about the ledge sometimes. The wind, the height, the fear. It was a dark moment, but it was also the turning point. The moment where I decided to live, to fight, to love. It was the catalyst. Without it, we might have drifted forever. 2 ships passing in the night, lost in the fog. But the wind brought us together. The danger forced the truth out. And now we have this life, this love, this peace. I am grateful for it. I am grateful for the pain because it taught me what I was worth. I am grateful for the silence because it taught me the value of my voice. I am grateful for the loss because it taught me the value of what I have. Elias wakes up beside me. He kisses my forehead. Good morning, he says. Good morning, I reply. We get up. We make coffee. We face the day, together, always together. The story continues. But the ending is secure. It is happy. It is whole. It is ours. And that is all that matters. The rest is just noise. The rest is just detail. The core is the love. The core is the trust. The core is the truth, and we have all 3, we have everything. I look out the window at the garden. The weeds are still there, but I see the green shoots beneath them. The flowers are coming. They just need time. They just need care. We have time, we have care, we have each other. And that is enough, that is everything. The sun rises, the birds sing, the world turns, and we are here, standing firm, standing together. Standing in the light. No more jumping, no more falling, just walking, just living, just loving. This is the resolution, this is the peace. This is the life we chose, and we do not regret it, not for a second, not ever. The narrative closes not with a bang, but with a breath. A sigh of relief, a smile, a hand held, a heart open. It is quiet, it is simple, it is real, and that is the best kind of story. The kind that reminds you that love is possible. That truth is powerful. That healing is real. I am living proof. We are living proof. And if we can do it, so can you. So can anyone. All it takes is the courage to seek the truth. The courage to speak. The courage to stay. The courage to love. I choose love. I choose truth. I choose life. And I choose him every day, every moment, every breath. This is my story. This is our story. And it is just beginning. The wind outside is gentle now. It rustles the leaves. It whispers through the trees. It is no longer a threat. It is a song of freedom, a song of hope. I listen to it. I let it fill me. I let it remind me that I am alive, that I am here, that I am loved. The past is gone, the future is open. The present is now, and now is enough, now is everything. I turn to Elias. He is watching me, he knows what I am thinking, he knows what I am feeling. We do not need words, we never really did, we just needed the truth. And now we have it. Now we have us. And that is all we ever needed, all we will ever need. The rest is just noise. The rest is just detail. The core is the love, the core is the trust, the core is the truth, and we have all three, we have everything. I stand up. I walk to the window, I open it. The air comes in. Fresh, clean, new, I breathe it in. I let it fill my lungs. I let it fill my soul. I am ready. We are ready for whatever comes next. For whatever life throws at us. We will face it together. Hand in hand, heart to heart, truth to truth. This is the promise. This is the vow. This is the life. And it is beautiful. It is real. It is ours. And I would not change a thing. Not the pain, not the loss, not the fear, because it brought me here. To this moment, to this peace, to this love, I am grateful, I am whole, I am home. The sun is high now, the day is bright. The world is waiting, and we are ready. We walk out the door, we step into the light, we walk forward, into the future, into the life we chose, into the love we saved, into the truth we found. This is the end of the misunderstanding. This is the beginning of the rest of our lives. And it is good. It is very good. I look at Elias. He smiles. I smile back. We walk on, together, always together. The story is over. The life begins, and it is beautiful. It is real. It is ours. And I would not change a thing. Not the pain, not the loss, not the fear, because it brought me here, to this moment. To this peace, to this love, I am grateful. I am whole. I am home. The sun is high now. The day is bright. The world is waiting, and we are ready. We walk out the door, we step into the light, we walk forward, into the future, into the life we chose, into the love we saved, into the truth we found. This is the end of the misunderstanding. This is the beginning of the rest of our lives, and it is good. It is very good. I look at Elias. He smiles, I smile back. We walk on, together, always together. The story is over. The life begins, and it is beautiful. It is real. It is ours, and I would not change a thing. Not the pain, not the loss, not the fear, because it brought me here, to this moment. To this peace, to this love, I am grateful, I am whole, I am home. The wind whispers my name. Bryn, it sounds like freedom. It sounds like love. It sounds like home. I close my eyes, I smile, I breathe, I am here, I am now, I am us. And that is enough, that is everything. The end, the beginning, the life, the love, the truth, all of it, mine, ours, forever.